What's good, Denver? It's Shelly Martinez, your host of Chopping It Up with Shelly at Hollywood Barbershop.
This is the Barbershop. Barbershop. This is the Barbershop. The place where a black man means so.
What's good, Denver? It's Chopping Up with Shelly over here at Hollywood Barbershop. I have Nikki over here, a former Hollywood Barbershop barber, female barber, and I got Keisha. She also is a poet, so check out her stuff. And then I got Zag over here, and she's got a podcast, and it's Talent You Should Know. Is that right?
Yep.
All right. And Zag was talking about on the last episode that, you were talking about self-love, how you have started to develop that self-love and that completeness within yourself to where, you don't have to per se rely on a man to take you to dinner or to go places with you, that you're confident in who you are and love yourself enough to treat yourself and date yourself essentially, the way you deserve to be treated
And I don't
dated,
expect
right?
anything at the end of the night. Like I could take myself out to dinner. And maybe I don't have to give it up to myself at the
But
end
you
of
know
the
what?
night. Maybe
I
just
give
wanna go to
myself the
bed.
best sex that I've ever had, so I'm good with that.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
But-
I'm abstinent, so I've been trying.
Okay,
not to
good
suck
job.
my
I've been
head.
there, I've been
She
there.
like, right on.
But you asked Shelly a question.
About safety.
about safety as a
Yeah, do you feel
Latina.
safe?
Yeah.
In what aspect are you asking?
So, in understanding Zach's comment on safety, black women are just seen as strength a lot of the time. You can make it through anything. We need you for this. I would like to, but you're too much. And this is not just from men, it's from society. We're not protected. We're not, we have to create our own safety. Like you said, I got some heaters that keep me warm
Right.
in a situation
Yeah.
if necessary. But internal safety, internal security, internal protection, I think that kind of goes into raising your sons as well. When we were saying you protect your sister and your mother, that's a part of that, because we are not protected. When you go out and you see us in a relationship, you see the dynamic of that relationship. When I see the dynamic of a Latino relationship, the man is always holding her close. He's always got her in his sight. And you see a lot of times in black relationships where the black woman probably done walked on and the black man is, lingering back, and not all the time, but enough to where I've noticed. And we are just not protected by society or by our counterparts, And so I wanted to know, how protected do you feel, if I'm correct in saying we're a little less protected than other cultures?
I've never dated Caucasians. I've
Okay.
always dated like Hispanics or black men.
Okay.
And my ex-husband was Hispanic, and I felt fairly safe with him. I felt like he had my back at all times. I felt supported and things like that. The marriage was pretty much destroyed because of infidelity on his part.
Okay.
But I mean, I don't know, like, if I can say that I've actually felt like 100% supported and protected and safe with the black men that I've been with either.
Okay.
And I think partly because I've never really had like a solid relationship.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
And that leaves
So-
us open.
Uh-huh.
It's always this crack in the door when it comes to, unfortunately, the black man and that aspect. It's like, you want me to be here and be your woman, but nobody can know. Or you want me to be your woman and you want her to be your woman. Or you want me to be your woman when you want me to be your woman. And there's never a security gate created so that I can say fully and wholeheartedly, confidently, yes, I'm with my man, I love my man, he loves me. You see it. 70s relationships is where that really was prominent, because black men was for their black women. She makes this house go round, you know, and they were taught that to a degree coming up. Within that era, I can't say exactly where, but I know with my dad, I'm born in 77. With my dad, he made sure home was taken care of. He's from down south. I was raised down south. And I just feel like that's an upbringing within itself down south. They're taught some different things with protection and security and watching out for their woman to a degree. But in this city life, it's so open because they feel there's so many options. Why would I focus on this particular, you know, person? We don't have that security.
There again,
a
I
lot
feel
of that
like
goes
it.
back to the trauma.
I do too,
Okay.
and I feel like it's
Okay.
just a distraction. They like these distractions. They don't want to take time to deal with their inner child trauma or anything like that, because only in solitude can God talk to you.
Yes.
Only in solitude can He show you the way, or show you where you've been and show you what His plan for you is. And if you don't have that solitude, you're constantly distracted. You're constantly never going to be guided correctly, you know? And
So
then
that's where the prison lines come from, though.
Well, and then
Because they
you
get the
have-
opportunity to sit down with that solitude. and that's usually it.
and sometimes prison and jail saves
Yeah,
a life, you know,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah.
You gotta get there sometime.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, when you have a man that hasn't taken care of his inner trauma or whatever it is, right? And let's face it, black men in general, they got the inner trauma, they could walk down the street and have trauma.
Yep.
Just being black,
Yep.
you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I mean, you know, it's at work. You know, it's discrimination all the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it might not be so blatant in your face, but it's there.
It's
You know
there.
what I'm saying? So they're constantly being traumatized. And then on top of that, the relationships they put themselves in, or I'm sorry, not relationship, but situationship. Because let's just face it, a lot of people are not trying to get, you know,
Right.
committed. You know, they think
Right.
it's prison, but it's really not.
It's really
You know,
not.
it's a lot easier to deal with one good woman
It
than it is
is.
multiple. It's a lot of
It
stress
is.
out there. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? But if you know, it's like hurt people hurt people. So if you got a hurt man out here and he's constantly, it's like a virus. He's giving it to everyone.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
he's putting all his trauma on other people
Yes.
and creating more trauma and more, you know, causing more of the women that he's dealing with to be, you know, what do you call it, have lower self-esteem
Yeah.
and other issues. You
Take
know,
on his inner.
for
Yeah.
me, if a man's coming and going and he's not with me in a solid relationship, it's constantly opening up my trauma wounds,
It
because
is.
I have
It
abandonment
is.
and I go
Yeah.
through that abandonment every
It
time
is.
he leaves.
Yes.
And to be honest, I'm tired of missing y'all. I'm tired of
Ooh,
missing men.
yes.
I don't want to miss
Yes.
nobody no more.
Yes.
And don't tell me you miss me, because if you miss me, why you not
Why
with
you
me?
not
Yeah.
here?
That is not. It's not making
Because we
sense
could
to
fix
me.
that, we could change that.
Right.
I love my black man. I'm gonna let y'all know this. Like, whatever we're saying here is because we love you so much. Like, I always say in the street, like, black men to me are kings. And because they go through so much on the outside world, when you come home, this is your place of peace. This
Yes.
is Abyssinia for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I have a great job. I can take care of myself. I'm financially solvent. But I will make sure that house is clean. I
Mhm.
will make sure that dinner is cooked.
Mhm.
I will take care of you because you're taking care of me.
Yeah.
But a lot of men don't allow you to take care of them, or they don't understand what a healthy relationship is. And that's the issue, because they've never felt safe in a relationship. Just like we were talking about us feeling safe.
Yeah.
Men need to feel safe too.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? That like every time, like if he drops his socks, you're not gonna say, "You dumb motherfucker, pick up your socks."
Right. Right.
You know.
Right. Straight up. Straight
You
up.
know. So
Say
yeah.
that.
Yo, I know women like that, but you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of times it's like, even when you're, you know, when I do it, I'm very specific in my prayers. Like, I want my husband to be
Yes.
happy, whole, and
Yes.
at peace.
Yes.
And I say, you know, I want him to be his confidant and his counselor.
Okay.
And the same thing, you know, for him, and reciprocate that. You know what I'm saying? But we have to be that for us. Like I said, be that for ourselves first
Yes.
before we
Start
can
with self.
be that for someone else.
Yes.
So I don't know, but
And
I love y'all.
A lot of times that is the key. We as women are not taking that full time for ourselves. again, at about 30, I had moved to Texas at that time. 30 was an awakening. I don't know. Did that happen to you all?
It was 40.
Okay. So 30 was an awakening for me, and I love it. It was a beautiful storm, is what I call it. And I met myself. You understand what I mean?
Yeah.
I met myself. It was challenging. I took my kids. We went to Texas. I wasn't thinking about nobody and nothing else. I just needed to be freed of not just my relationships, but my family dynamic wasn't very strong.
Yeah.
Everything was on me. I was carrying it all, and I did it respectfully, and I did it responsibly, but I didn't do it proudly because it was so heavy, and I couldn't find that love. I had to love everybody and love myself, and it was just love. All my love is gone, and I'm giving all my love away, and I was like, I'm tired. So I picked them kids up and we went. When we got there, like I said, a beautiful storm. I felt like I made a bad decision, but I never let that change my mind on, no, I'm gonna go through this. And I told God at that time, I said, hey, as long as you walk through it with me, I'm gonna go through whatever I gotta go through from this day forward. And it's been like that. Loving yourself and meeting yourself is something so, it's beautiful.
It's like coming into alignment with God.
It really
You
is.
know what I mean?
And when you do that, you give away possession of anything else. And you take you, and you take you so into consideration. And I say this because I mean it with my whole heart. If I could love me, then I could love you. If I could love me, I could love my children. If I could love me, I could love my family. So I had to start with me and the reconstruction of my conditioning, the reconstruction of my atmosphere and the things that influence some of my decisions and my behaviors. And I had to go through all that unpacking, and I'm writing. I done wrote a whole book. I literally wrote a book. And I love poetry because the book has some poetry in it. Now that I know you do that, I'm gonna let you see it. And you tell me how you feel about it. And it's only 10 chapters, but it's me. And the main thing I had to do was be honest with myself.
Yeah.
Be honest with who you are and what you're dealing with. Quit expecting somebody to love something about you that you don't even love about yourself.
Right.
Quit expecting somebody to tell you something about you that you don't know about yourself. So we definitely, just as a people, have to take out the time to learn ourselves first. Then you can go out into this world and not be easily offended, not be so much in your feelings. You're human, we're sensitive, we're women. But come on now, some of that you ain't gotta do, all that flipping down and acting a fool. I don't bust windows, I don't flatten tires, I don't have time.
No.
I never did.
No.
But a lot of times we'll blame it. The blame is you. Look at how you are. And in doing all that,
Yep.
I've been able to really grow in my relationships, whether they work out or not. I read a book by Iyanla Vanzant. No, I'm sorry. It wasn't Iyanla Vanzant. I take that back. I'm sorry. A Letter to My Daughter. Maya Angelou. I'm so sorry. Maya Angelou. A Letter to My Daughter. And I read this when sometime in my 20s. The part that stood out to me the most said, learn to love without possession. And once I picked that up and that sat in my spirit, it went for anybody. And in doing so, I've also learned that purpose is important. I had a friend, a guy friend in Texas, and we started out flirting into each other. We were great. And then something happened, something clicked. And I was like, we ain't supposed to be doing this because, you know, we could be on a spiritual level together. And this is something I never really experienced, especially with a black man. They sometimes keep that part hidden and possibly protected, but I've never experienced it. And so I'm like, whoa, he's more like a friend. God, what are you trying to tell me? What is my purpose in this life? And I started paying attention to purpose. So sometimes we go into these relationships and expect to be with this person when all they were there for is to teach lessons, unlock certain things, and you have to learn yourself first to start being open to paying attention to all these different areas, and that'll keep us from breaking our own hearts.
Yes.
and being so hurt and being so caught up and being okay with being alone with ourselves
Yeah.
until, you know, I like what you said, I'm dating now. I'm taking my steps, I'm taking my time. And I applaud that because so many times we just rush into a
Cause
relationship.
I'm that girl.
Me too. That's why I said it.
If we go on a date, we go together.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
this is the first time I've given myself bandwidth to date like 2 or 3 people. It's a lot for me because I don't care. It's hard for me to care about other people's feelings in multitude, right? Because I'm always so focused.
Mhm.
But now it's like, no, is this good for me?
Yes.
Yeah.
What am I ready to accept? Is this, and I block delete
Yes.
fast.
Oh.
Like, I
that's
don't
part of
remember
the journey
numbers.
of learning
Yeah.
to love yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is as you learn to love. One of the things that the Lord led me to do for myself when I was learning to love myself is I would look in the mirror every day and I would say, Lord, help me see me how you see me.
That's beautiful
Because
and necessary.
if you can't see yourself how the Lord sees you, you can't truly love yourself.
Yeah.
You can't accept every piece of you in the way
Yes.
that you are, because you still gonna have times where you fall short and you
Yeah.
feel less than and you don't feel worthy. But if you can look in that mirror and still see what God sees, then you have the opportunity to give yourself enough grace
Yes.
to keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, that's the one thing that you have to do is keep moving forward.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think when we talk about the strong black woman and that archetype which needs to die, there's no, if you want to offend me, tell me I'm strong, because I'm probably
I know,
gonna
right?
fight you. Like I know that I'm strong,
Yeah.
but don't put it on me like it's a job or a responsibility or
and
an
that's the
expectation.
difference.
And so you spend all this time having to be strong, like a car in overdrive, and then everybody's like, well, what the hell happened to the transmission?
Why you fall out?
You know what I'm saying?
Why-
Like, well,
why
what did you
yeah.
expect? Like, you can't drive this thing at 80 miles an hour, 8 days a week, 24/7.
Yeah.
And feel like, notice I said 8 days.
Yes, that's why I said yes. 8 days, yes. Like I don't
But
have that kind of time.
like, nothing makes me angrier because they always talk about black women, how we are, not only are we strong, but we're also angry. So we don't get the rights to our emotions and
Yeah.
our feelings.
Yeah,
We're allowed to either hold everybody and everything up
yeah,
or go the hell off and
Yeah.
like burn some stuff down.
yeah,
Like those are our 2 options.
Yeah.
yeah.
We're not really like, I've had people, friends like you crying, oh, but you're so strong.
Yeah.
What does that have to do with
The
anything?
hell?
You're
I'm
supposed
glad
to
you
cry.
said that.
You're supposed to
Yes.
cry.
I'm
So
glad
when we
you said
look
that.
at, sharing these things with our sons, why would we expect anything less of our son than what we expect of ourselves?
Right.
If we're telling ourselves, hey, you know what? I can't cry about this. Boss up, dude. And then we wonder why we have so many young girls not related to like LGBTQ stuff, because that's its own era, but that are like managed.
Yes.
Like I'm not the youngest, but I'm a little managed. You see, I'm in here. If you catch me, I'm probably gonna have on my hoodie. I'm probably gonna have on some sweats.
Yeah.
That's part of the reason I didn't want to cut my hair when the Lord was like, shave your head. And I was like, you playing? I'm gonna be out here looking like a whole little boy. Like right now, I at least still look like a lady.
Beautiful.
You do. My hair is short under this.
I
Just
love
every so
it.
often I look.
Yeah.
But,
Yeah, you like a little.
a little
I
something.
love it.
My head is so small, I
But it
can't
looks
wear none of my
good,
wigs
yeah.
no
Girl,
more.
I
So
gave it up. I gave it all up. This is what you get.
But yeah, because we aren't given they talk about, oh, well, other women are more feminine. Well, we aren't always necessarily given the space to be feminine.
Yes. We
And
have to
on that
be
self-love
strong.
journey,
Mm.
I have not fully gotten to the place where I am comfortable being my softer self.
Okay.
Well, look, being single, you're in a masculine world. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, I work in a masculine environment,
Mm.
all men. And then on top of that, if I have, I do my own car maintenance. I'm doing everything that I'm doing the same stuff that a man should do in my life,
Yes.
except I'm doing it all. So I feel like I'm tired of being a man out here.
Yeah.
I want to be a woman,
Yes.
and I want a man to be the man. I
Come
want to
on.
stay in my lane and let him be the man.
Yes,
And
yes.
I want to put on the pretty twirly
Yes.
dresses that I used to
Yes.
love as a little girl and go
Yes.
turn some circles and spin that.
But at the same time, don't penalize me for being successful and being independent.
That
Can we
part.
talk
You know
about
what I'm
this?
saying? That
Can we
part.
Just keep going on it. Keep going on
You
it.
know, I need a man, okay, strong enough to accept the fact that I might make more money than you. I might be more
Yeah.
resourceful than you.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's
Yes.
okay. I don't need
That
that from
means
you.
we gonna be good.
I need support from you, and not financial support. I need support,
Yes,
emotional love.
yes.
I need you to know that you
Tenderness.
got me. You know what I'm saying? In a different way. And don't let yourself become insecure by my success, because you know what?
Oh.
It wasn't given to me.
Ooh.
You know what I'm
Preach.
saying? I had to work for it. I was on
Preach.
my own since I was 17,
Preach.
and nothing was given to me.
Preach.
You know, and I mean, and I got here
Yeah.
by the grace of God.
Yeah.
And he's the only true father I had
That's it.
that saw me through that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? But I will say one more thing, because you talked about purpose earlier, and then we can come back to this, is that I feel like once you know what your purpose is, right? You can stay focused on that purpose. He's not gonna bless any relationship with a man that distracts you.
That
If you
part.
gotta worry about where the hell he's at, what he's doing,
That part.
and the fighting and all the trauma that's going on over here, obviously he's gonna block it for you.
He's gonna
because
take that
because he
away.
needs you
Yeah.
to focus on the purpose and
Yeah.
the reason that he
Yeah.
puts you here.
Yeah.
Now, if you got a man over here that you don't gotta worry about, that you're secure with, and you have a strong love and all that stuff, and he supports and helps uplift you, and you can focus on your purpose, he's gonna bless that relationship.
Yes.
And that's where we fall short, is
Yes.
we're so
We
consumed.
need to,
Because the
yeah,
other thing, if we're
focus on-
constantly consumed with and obsessed with where this other man's at, what he's doing, we can't focus. And God's like, no, he's a jealous God, correct?
Yes.
So you know you over here idolizing this other dude over here when you're supposed to be focused right here.
Yes.
And that to me is what I've learned. And I thank God for all of the
Yes.
messed up situations
Yes.
that I have been in with
Yes.
these men that have mistreated
Learning
me.
lessons. Learning.
It's not their fault, it's mine, because I allowed it. And that's so hard to swallow. It is.
It is.
You know, but it's the truth.
It is. It
and,
is
and,
true.
and how did that happen? How come I allowed that? That's for me to find out within myself because of my trauma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now I know where it comes from. So
Yeah.
now I can see through it, and now I can move forward and be healthy within myself, like you said, you know, and then attract healthy. Because before I was attracted to toxic shit. I was but I was familiar with it. You
Yes.
know, I'm familiar.
It was a
and it's
comfort
comfort.
zone.
It's
Yeah, it was
comfort
a
to be in
comfort
toxic
zone.
crap.
Yes.
You know, I'll sit there with you and I'll be loyal with you.
It's familiar.
Yes. And I was like, where
So
does that
it's-
come
it's-
from?
It's
You know?
uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
comfort because you're familiar with it. So you already know how to move
Yeah,
within that.
it
You
hurts
don't
so
have to
good.
adjust or learn anything else.
Mm-hmm.
But you're like, why is this the best that I can get?
Mm-hmm.
And to your point, I feel like it's not necessarily what you allow, but what you accept.
Yes.
Exactly. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Preach.
Yes. I want to touch
Because
on.
I'm with you. I block, delete.
Fast.
Quick.
I've stopped memorizing numbers.
Right.
Seriously. And I think men think what you said about like just I need a man, but I don't need him financially.
Mhm.
It's like I want a partner.
Yes.
Like you said, oh, you don't need a man. You goddamn right. I'll get on a flight to Europe right now,
Today.
today,
Right.
and
Societal
go shopping and come
conditioning.
back.
Right.
Right.
It makes them feel like that they're less than. The charge in the Bible for husbands is to love your wife like Christ loved the church.
Yes.
Yeah.
So they like to get caught up though on that submissive part, right? Submit to your husband, but it also says submit yourselves one to another.
I was
So
gonna
my
ask.
thing is, if you're loving me, and these dudes always want to ride or die, if you're not loving me like Christ,
Right.
which is unto death, then I don't have anything to ride or to die for. They want you to
That part.
follow wherever.
That part.
And where are you leading me? You don't have a
Right.
plan. You don't know your purpose. You don't know yourself. But you want me to submit to you. And even though I might view you as a king because that's who you are, if you don't know it,
Right.
but you want me to treat you like it, like I'm not here. Every relationship, business, whatever that you have, you're in service to other people.
Mhm.
But I'm not here to be your servant.
Right.
Submissiveness and safety are synonymous. If I don't feel safe, I'm not
gonna
submitting
submit.
Because if I'm not, you know what I'm saying? My
Yeah.
body,
And if
my
you're not
mind.
following God,
No.
you know
Right.
who the head of your life is. You know you don't control
Yes.
everything. I can't submit. And that was the question. I'm glad you brought that up, and
Yeah.
I'll let you finish. I'm sorry.
I was actually going to go back to a point you said about being feminine, and like, because I'm just like you all. Like I'm going to work. I'm making this money. You know, I go out in my Air Max and da 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 da. And I started to say, I love feeling like a woman. I love feeling
it.
soft.
Every bit of it.
The amount of lingerie and shit that I buy offline, and I wear it for myself.
Yes.
And I would look in the mirror, I would be like, God.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But I had to get there. I had to get there. You know what I'm saying? I
Yes.
take a little picture of myself like, oh, like
Yes.
this is no great. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't able to feel like that before until I loved me. I
That's
never
a
wore a
blessing.
shirt without sleeves because I didn't love my arms. And then I was like, oh, that dress is dope. But I'm dope. So
Yeah.
the dress is dope.
Yeah, that's two
Then
dope
we'll be,
chicks.
it's two dope chicks. And it's
I love
like,
it.
when you said that about being soft, it's like, I
I
just
love
want
it.
a man to come in
And
just,
understand that.
I come in
That's
and
what
you
you
hold
want.
me and it's like, I'm your woman.
That's what you're here for. If you wanted to be with a man, be with a man.
But
I
not
don't
just
want to
on
be. I don't want to
weekends.
feel like a man. No, I'm saying for the man. She says she wants to be soft. Go be. If you want a man that look like a woman, and hard like a man,
Yeah.
they have that now. More now than ever.
I love
Yes.
Don't try to
You
transform
can find
me.
what you want.
Yeah.
Because there's so many options, like it's wide open now. But I'm gonna hold true
Yeah.
to my
Yes.
feminism, and I'm gonna hold true to the softness that I bring to your world. I'm
Yeah.
supposed to. You had said, I'm so sorry, I forgot. Submissiveness.
Yes.
So I want to ask, just get your opinion, all three of your opinion on submissiveness, because like you said about the angry and the strong with the black woman, what is this docile submissiveness that we're supposed to bow to just to have a man, a black man specifically?
It's a false societal construct.
Okay.
And it's not a real understanding of what submission looks like.
Exactly.
If they look at one explanation in the dictionary, I think that means that you're supposed to be subservient.
Okay.
One of the most painful, unsolicited conversations I've ever had with a black man was an older black man. I was working in the hospital. I was doing phlebotomy for him that day, came in to draw his blood. And you know what? Sometimes it hurts, sometimes it doesn't. I'm good as hell, but I ain't gonna make no promises.
That part.
And so the doctor, who just happened to be a Caucasian man, was teasing him because he said, ow, and he was like, oh, she did that on purpose. But he was joking. I could tell from his tone and his body language, mannerisms. But no, this man was like, yep, you did. And then proceeded to tell me how, as an American black woman, that I was the
Not
worst
American
type
black woman.
of black woman.
Oh no, how disrespectful.
I wasn't, but I couldn't stop drawing his blood because I'm doing him a service. And he needs this. Like, you sick, I'm good.
That part.
Like, I mean, I can leave,
With my
but then we
black
just gonna have more
American
complaints.
woman ass.
But he railed on me for like the next 15 or 20 minutes.
Wow.
And I was pregnant, y'all.
That's rough.
Can I
Super
tell you?
sensitive.
And I'm pregnant with the little boy. And, it was, what? Oh, God, I want to say Tamir Rice or one of these other young ones that just got killed. And so I have all this stress.
Yeah.
Like, dang it, I'm bringing another one in here.
Yeah.
And they getting worse and worse and more
Yeah.
obvious and more blatant. And,
Yes.
and here goes, this black man that you
Again,
would
that
want
protection.
to, right, because as a black woman, when you see black men, you see aspects of the black men that you respect and that you love.
Yes.
You see your dad,
Yes.
you see your
Your
grandpa, you
uncles.
see your
Yeah.
cousins. You know what I'm saying? You see these men in them. And you have that. This is part of the reason why, they're always looking to us, when it's time to march. But I'm just saying, and there are tons of black men that are in positions to lead and trying to lead, and that do need like genuine support. But y'all, I promise you, I left his room, I put my stuff up, and I went and got my breakfast because we were done for the morning with morning rounds. And I went and I sat in the corner by myself and cried.
Bless you. Bless you.
Because how?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
How
why?
do you, why?
And why?
Yeah.
how do you have
But that's
that
when you
much
notice it's not your
self-hate
problem.
for yourself?
It wasn't your problem. At
Yeah.
that point, you made a point earlier about you knew that that was that person's issue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with you. And again, that's a part of
Well,
you knowing
the
you.
self-healing, like
Yeah.
you were talking about,
And
being
taking care of
able
He lashed
yourself.
out on you.
being able to see, you know,
Mhm.
these things and be like, okay,
And for his
that's
age,
you.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take
Yeah.
for
this
him not to
over
be healed
here.
like
Yeah.
that.
Right.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. The level of trauma and struggle that I see within black men, and even, you know, when they're reaching out for help, I don't know where the disconnect is with the need for mentors and services and things of that nature. I don't know if it's like ego sometimes that stands
It's
in
a
the
lot
way,
of that.
or-
It's a
or
lot of
pride,
that.
or what all
Because
things
of
get in the way.
it's always competition.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I asked the question about the submissiveness. Because what has their mind thinking we're not submissive enough? And why do they say like Asian, Latina, Caucasian, they know how to follow instruction, follow direction. It's like you're not a
You don't
father,
want a
number
woman.
one,
You
to
want a
that
maid
woman.
at that point.
And so I was just, I wanted,
Yeah.
all of you's, input and idea about that. Like,
I mean,
what does that look like? And why?
Go
Oh,
ahead.
she said
So,
why.
I mean, I have no problem submitting to someone who is equally yoked, if we're gonna say so to speak. I, like you said, like we're all successful, we all can do what we need to do for ourselves. But when you allow me to love you, and you allow yourself to love me, and I'm not saying unconditionally, because there's always a condition. You
Yes,
go be
of some
mean and
sort.
Right. But when it's a situation where there's that transparency and we're vulnerable and we're intimate, not necessarily in a sexual manner, but I trust you to make
Mhm.
decisions.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And he trusts me to make decisions. I'm fine with that. But what you're not gonna do is walk up and say, I'm a black man, you're supposed to be submissive to me.
Right.
You can't even get on the bus and pay the bus fare, and then you're gonna yell at me because you can't pay the bus fare.
Because I didn't give you the money.
Because I didn't give you
Because I
the money.
didn't submit.
Like, what are you, and it's always like, what are you bringing to the table? It's not about what we're bringing to the table, it's how we're gonna build this table together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
Because
see
we
what I'm
have
saying?
no choice but to build our own table because we're not even invited to that.
The majority of the guys that I deal with are just bringing their appetite to the table.
That's
Come on.
it.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
You're
real.
right.
Like I got
That's
a
real.
12-course
And you
meal,
have to know
dessert, all that.
You
You know what
have
I'm
to
saying?
recognize
so,
that.
Come on, like let's contribute together. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying? Because we
Yeah.
could build an empire
So much
together.
stronger.
Or I could do
man.
it alone. You know what I'm saying? But I mean,
Yeah.
I don't want to have to carry nobody either. And I don't mind being with a man who makes less than me.
Yeah.
If he's got
Long
a
as you
job and
making
he's
money.
hustling,
Long as you
and
bring
he's
something in.
ambitious and he's got goals,
Yeah.
man, I'm
As
down
long
for
as
you.
bring it-
But like one thing I do want to point out is like this whole communication thing. You know, we have a communication barrier, right?
Yes.
Like I don't know how many times you guys have been in a situation with somebody that I have been in a situation where I'm scared to say something because I'm afraid he's gonna run off.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
I just told my daughter
This is what
this.
I'm saying. Like to me, a relationship looks like this. I always tell people like this. A relationship is like this. It's like you want to build your dream home, right? You want the toilet in the kitchen. You want the refrigerator in the bathroom. You want the front door in the back of the house. That's your dream home, right? So you're just gonna hire a contractor to come in and build your dream home, right?
Yeah.
But you forgot to show them the blueprint. The blueprint is how you love yourself and
Yes.
how you treat yourself.
And what you would
And how
like
you
to
love
be
and treat
treated
yourself is how they're going to treat you because they're going to learn from you by example. And if you ain't showing them by example your blueprint, you're going to be miserable in that house for the rest of your
I
life.
feel like you can learn some things from me about how to treat me, but if
You
you don't
should.
already inherently have an idea of how to treat me as
Just
a
a common
human and as
decency.
a woman,
Yes.
then I
You say it's a lost cause.
right, because look. We always talk. What's that, K. Michelle? I'm not a fan, but what's that song? I can't raise
I
a man.
can't raise a
Can't raise
man.
a man.
I can't raise
Yeah,
a man.
can't raise no man. And I honestly sometimes be like, is this why we single? There's a lot of things that I lack patience for. So there's a lot I'm dating, but I've had a lot of first dates
That
and
part.
not a lot of seconds, because that journey, learning to love yourself, I've been like,
People are
am I
scared of
really
that.
going, even in learning to love yourself is also learning to trust yourself.
Yes.
And
Trust
your first
intuition,
instinct,
your
your
mind,
first mind,
your heart,
and
your gut.
man,
Yes.
because you know what, if I listened to my first mind, when the Lord was like, no baby, I wouldn't have married that man.
We
Right.
only ignore it because of what we want.
Jump on
That
high
is
school
it.
sweetheart.
We ignore that because
Yeah.
of what we want. We want it, so yeah, I probably had a heads up on it, but I didn't pay attention
He's
I
to it.
didn't really
Right.
want it.
Yeah.
I thought that's
Oh.
where I was supposed to be.
Oh,
Listen,
okay.
and that's the other side when we talk
Okay.
about religion and the Lord,
Okay.
is that there's such a disconnect within the church between religion and relationships. So these men are getting a lot of these men are getting religion with all these rules, so they got these expectations. That's where this false idea of submission comes in.
Right.
That, I'm supposed to be at the door with your slippers and your plate when you get here, or
Right.
whatever that you
Right.
think that looks like. But
Right.
now I know, I was, at that point in my life, I was in religion, which is all the rules and regulations,
Yep.
and I was like, oh, we going to hell, we got kids
We
out of
gotta
wedlock.
fix this.
You know what
We
I'm
gotta
saying?
fix it. So
Right.
those go back to
Yeah.
some of the traumas and upbringings and things that. So one thing about being an adult, what I love, is that now you have choice. It is
Yes.
your choice. Trauma is universal.
Oh no, I was like almost 30 when I made that choice.
Trauma is universal.
Yeah.
Choice is individual.
Yeah.
And
Ooh,
you
I like
take
that.
your responsibility. You had said communication. So I can touch on the question you asked me earlier if I was in a relationship. In a relationship, we've been seeing each other for about 6 months. My first time actually dating someone, taking the time to get to know them, just really doing a lot of holding back of what I know I'm capable of. Like,
Come on.
oh, yeah.
Come on,
Especially
right.
if you're good. Like,
Yeah,
oh my
yeah,
gosh, he's good looking, he's sweet, he's all these things that I want. Literally, just recently, okay? Mind you, this is how the relationship is going. We don't argue. It's only 6 months.
Yeah.
But because I'm so familiar with relationship, I'm like, okay, this is actually pretty out of the blue. Out of the blue. Stop calling me. Stop answering my text messages. Even got a little rude. What is it? What do you want? Whoa. Whoa. And this was literally one weekend we were good, and that next weekend something changed.
Yeah.
You find yourself kind of drifting back into how you would normally react, and I can react.
Fall back,
Vaseline
like-
out,
I can
the
react.
earrings off.
I can react. But I pat myself on the back because I didn't
Yeah.
Good job.
the way that I normally do.
Yeah.
So what I did was I took a minute and I thought about it. I'm like, okay, what could have happened? The only thing, and I'm just saying this, I love him, the person that he is, the man that he is. I think sometimes we forget that men go through things too. And when you are a lot of women, as we've expressed that we are, it could be overwhelming. I had to learn that. Like, girl, you could be a bit much. Not on no negativity, all good. But for a man that is not used to that and
Yeah.
ready for that and sure of that, you could be too much. So all these thoughts crossed my mind from, is it another woman? Did you just ghost me? Like, are you used to doing this to women? You said something about that earlier. He goes from one woman
Right,
to.
right.
So you told me about your last relationship, but not really.
Yeah.
Is this what you did to her? All these things going through my head. And finally, the week began. I called his job.
Okay.
Don't get me to react. So I called the job. I'm respectful. He didn't answer, but he texted me. And his text was, would you please just give me some time to get myself together? Because I'm a bit overwhelmed. That's all
Good
I
for him.
asked.
Good
respect
for him.
that.
Yes.
That's all I needed. That's it. You got me flipping out. Didn't you say something about that earlier? You
Yes.
got me over here tripping, wondering about myself, checking myself, thinking what I did wrong. I know I ain't did nothing. I'm going over the whole thing. I ain't
Don't
did
you go
nothing.
through the text you
I ain't
got?
did nothing. I keep looking at it.
You playing these in
What
the
is
hold on,
going
so
on?
because I did ask him about that red shoe.
I did.
But it could be
I did.
it's
health.
Yes.
Yeah.
I also am aware of the fact that he just relocated, the fact that he's starting over, the fact that he has children still of age to be with their mother,
Yeah.
mother's tripping at times. I had to take all these, this is my maturity into relationship. Take all this into consideration and say, you know what? You should back up. If he told you to do that, back up and give him his space, because if you want him and he want to get right, you might have triggered something to make
Yeah.
him feel like
Yeah.
he needed to check that. And sometimes we need to take that into consideration,
Yeah.
because not every time every man is just about that bullshit.
Right.
Some men are really like, wow, and they don't know how to respond, but they try to. My biggest thing is communication. Tell me. Soon as he hit me with that, I said, you know what? I appreciate you saying something, and God bless you. I am praying for you. You will make it through this. Whatever he's going through. And I back up and I continue to do me.
Yeah.
You know, but we can be kind of overbearing
But
sometimes.
you know what?
And
Sometimes that's God interfering and saying, you know what, you're losing yourself a little bit.
yeah.
You giving more to him right now, and you need to give to
Oh
yourself.
yeah.
You see what
Oh
I'm
yeah.
saying?
And when you said that earlier about him being about it, you know, God being a jealous God, and we have to stay focused on our purpose. I'm okay with that now. Back then I was not. I'm like, no, I need help. I need somebody. But now I'm like, you know what? Right on, and continue on. If you're supposed to be here, you will be. If you're not, you won't be.
I'm proud of
And
you.
I'm
That's
okay
good.
with that.
Yeah.
So that's why I said somewhat.
So maybe you guys can help me with something, because I feel like, you know, we all in this space like, ooh, I love me, my skin's soft, shit like that.
We smell good.
Right? I'm using the exfoliating
Yes.
I'm in this, right?
Yes.
I do it every 2 weeks. There's but my question is, so I'm in this thing where, like I said, I've been in these relationships where I've settled, where I've put myself in the background, where I've built businesses, I've been smart for other people and not myself. Like I've made money for people. I do not want to be with one more trying ass motherfucker. Like I don't want to hear you're trying.
Speak that.
I want to
Say
hear
that.
you're doing, and I want to
Say
see
that.
that. Because
Say
it's
that.
like I can't do, and I don't know if I can do that anymore. And maybe I just
I don't
need,
want to do that
maybe I just
anymore.
need someone to see someone who's actually doing it for themselves,
Yes.
and then I add on to that.
That.
But I don't
That
want you
is where
to
I'm at
need
as well.
my help.
So in that, I don't date potential
Come on.
either.
Okay.
People are like, oh, he got potential.
Okay.
Yeah, the potential potential for what?
Okay.
He could potentially be a serial killer.
That-
Right,
yeah,
that's
that
not-
part.
like, potential can go.
It can go so
up,
many
or it can
ways.
go
Yeah.
down.
I've been at fault.
It's very
Like,
bright.
I've been at
Me
fault for
too.
that.
Listen, my ex-husband was
Full of potential.
15 years of potential, 10 years of no job. Like, come on
Oof.
now. No.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Never again. No, and the reality is, and when you go into a relationship, a marriage, or whatever, you know that there's the possibility that this person that you love, anything can happen.
Could fall off.
Sure.
Anything can happen.
You know what I'm
yes.
saying? Yeah, anything could happen. The company they work for could shut down. They
Yes.
could fall into a depression. They
Yes.
could, get in an accident on the way to work or
Yes.
way home and
Yes.
be in a wheelchair for the rest of their life.
Yes.
So, and I think sometimes the problem that we create for ourselves is that we really take these like long-term relationships with seasonal people. If you're not prepared for all of the
Yeah.
when they say when you get married, for better or for
For
worse,
better
what
or
does
for
what does
worse.
worse look like?
Yes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
What could my worst look like? Are you prepared to love me through my worst? And that's where like his relationship with God is key, because if you some days you're not gonna want to talk to me,
Yeah.
but you better have enough self-awareness to talk to God.
Right.
Yes.
You know what I'm
yes,
saying? I don't
yes.
care if you need to send him a
Yes.
message to tell Lord,
Right.
if she tripping, I need you to
And-
I need you to let her know. Or even just the simple things like praying for me. Like in my purpose, in my calling, like I don't know who my future husband is, but he's gonna have to be a praying man, because he has no choice but to cover
Right.
me heavily.
Yes.
He's got to be secure in himself, because
Yes.
I'm in the process of building an 8, maybe more figure business.
I
Like
know,
I
that's
don't
right.
know
Bless you.
how you gonna feel about that.
Yeah.
Right.
But I don't have time for your insecurities.
At all.
Every time I think I done, I done
Just
got
got it
all the
together.
roots out, and
Yeah.
I'm like, and then I'm like, oh, why are you triggering me? Like I'm not allowed to be triggered. I'm healed.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh, there's more stuff.
Yeah.
Right.
But
And
too, we have
even-
to understand, you have to understand with that, people that they've dealt with, they're bringing that to you where you've healed. And even though it's triggering, it's still to a degree a test to see how you've healed and how you handle it.
And that when you say that, that's the other reason why I openly, within the first, if you make it to, second or third date, by then you know that I was in a 15-year abusive relationship.
Okay.
Because at that point, you're gonna show your true colors.
Yeah.
I have yet to date a man that didn't get like, oh,
Then get weird by the time
if he was that dude, once you know that I've been in an abusive relationship, that didn't get comfortable. They always say, oh, don't tell a dude what another dude did for you. No, let him tell on himself. Let him tell on himself.
Yep.
Let him tell you how lowball he's willing to go. And that's where you see the men who are like, oh, well,
Okay.
oh, she took that, then this thing,
Okay.
she'll take this.
I
type
wondered
stuff.
that.
And I'm
you
like,
answered a
I'm
question
like,
I
okay,
didn't have to
okay.
ask. I
delete,
wondered that.
block, I'm good,
Yep. You, girl,
We're gonna be here all night.
Oh,
Part 3.
Part 3.
here's the thing. See, I'm putting the weave over the shoulder.
See,
because,
that's when you know the truth in it.
It was so interesting, and that's why I said this last relationship helped me learn so much because, again, like, I've been through shit, as a child where I wasn't safe.
Yes.
My father was beating the shit out of me. I was,
Bless you.
raped. I was,
Bless
all this
you.
stuff. My parents kicked me out when I got pregnant. I was homeless, all this stuff, and I was holding on to that, like, on the inside, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Probably not even knowing.
not even knowing it. And then I went to therapy, right? And that's when I learned that the reason I was accepting of certain things. And with my ex, he knew all of these things and would use them against me when we got in an argument.
Yeah.
He would throw that shit. You know why you ain't keeping no nigga? Because you got 2 kids and you da-da-da-da-da. And I said,
Yep.
and that was that mental abuse.
Yep.
Someone held a shotgun, like you said, in my mouth, was about to fucking kill me.
Bless your heart.
All of these things happened to me, and I was like, A, I gotta heal myself, thank God for therapy, but B, I was like, it showed me who I don't wanna be with, right? Because you're like, how can I go through all this, heal myself, and God heal me, and go to therapy, and then be with someone who will use all of those triggers
Ooh.
to try to bring you down?
Bless you.
Never in my life. Like, I have no problem sharing my story with who I'm with, but the first time I see you
Anything.
trying to say, that's why, fuck you.
Or
and
do
I'm out.
it.
Yeah, because
And
it's
I'm out.
manipulation.
And I'm
It
out.
is.
It's verbal abuse. It's
It
mental
is.
abuse.
And it's
Yeah.
from what
It's-
they've been
it's
through.
true.
Yes.
Because they have not even attempted some assistance
Right.
with healing. Because
Yes.
that's what therapy is.
Yes.
It's just assistance with healing. And amongst the Black community and culture, we're taught, I just did an interview with my job about this, and the story will be coming out in June. We are taught so many negative things about getting help with the things that we've dealt with. But mental health is so healthy. Mental health is so necessary. It's something we're lacking in a whole.
Yeah.
And I see certain things kind of turning around and people kind of advocating. I want to be an advocator for that. I'm willing to do any interview, any talk,
Yeah.
any event, anything, just to bring awareness to that. I've been a barber for 20-something odd years.
Yeah.
I did that because I love men. I do. And I love my women too.
Yeah.
But with the men, like you said, Shelly, they open up to us. We are that woman that gives them that idea of what they would like a woman to be able to be understanding to what they might reveal. Because they can be so secretive. Some of those things I want to learn, the way men can like cut off and shut off, but you know they have some abilities, but they don't know how to present them and come forth with them,
Yeah.
and even be comfortable in that. And I think creating a comfortable space mentally has to start first.
Yeah.
You said something about communicating in the beginning. I am going to tell you, not necessarily everything I've been through, but look, this is what I don't want, this is what I don't like.
Talk about
And
it.
I'm not gonna hold that back because you're gonna use it against me.
Or
If-
you're gonna leave or run
Or-
be,
and I used
I
to.
don't wanna be
Right.
afraid that you're
Yeah.
gonna leave and not be able to say
No,
what you
I
have to
need
say.
you to know
what I
who
mean?
you're dealing with, and I want to know who I'm dealing with. So I'm asking questions. What are your intentions for this relationship?
Mhm.
Where do you want it to go? Are you just trying to have, how long are you trying to have sex with me? Because if that's what it is, we need to get that understanding. And I had to learn that because I got tired of being misunderstood,
Yeah.
tired of being mistreated. Yes, we're beautiful
Yeah.
and strong women. That's what we are.
Yeah.
I've helped men start businesses. I left a
Girl.
business just recently. Have it. Because I'm always going to do so much better
Talk
than
about
what I was doing before. It has nothing to do with
Yes.
you.
Yes.
I blessed you. I'm going to come up. You heard me kind of sneak that in there.
Yeah.
I'm going to come up. I'm going to come
Talk
up.
about it.
I'm going to come up mentally, emotionally, physically. I herb, I exercise, I take care of myself
Mhm.
from the inside out because that's where it starts and that's
Yeah.
where it has to be. If it's too much, God's gonna remove you and I don't have to.
Right.
I just have to understand that
Yeah.
and be okay with that. But if you're meant to be here, anything I say to you is gonna be okay.
Right.
You're gonna accept it and you're gonna work with it. You understand what I'm saying? And so I don't ever want to be silent and silenced again.
Yeah.
Because as a child, that happened to me. People knew things was going on and did not say
They
nothing,
didn't say
did not protect me, made me feel like, okay, well, you ain't the only one who go through it. Well, I don't want to go through it. Therapy came in my life to help heal me.
Mhm.
I respect it, I accept it, and it was okay.
Right.
Thus far.
I'm gonna talk about this thing you said because we didn't touch on it, but when you were talking about sex,
Yes.
and I think that goes along with saying what we need, and this isn't just and being comfortable saying it, not just
Yes.
financially and all that other
Yes.
stuff. I am not going to fake an orgasm for you.
Not anymore.
I'm not going to participate in that
I
because.
stopped doing that in like 2000.
But you, right, and you shouldn't be afraid to say,
Yes.
listen, I need you to focus on the left side,
Yes.
the top,
Because they do.
right there,
They do.
da-da-da-da-da.
They do.
Because they do. You know what I'm
They
saying?
tell us what they
and it's,
want.
And this is when you're with someone, you are. That's why I say I'm not having sex because to give myself to someone is so exhausting to continue. I mean, we were grown up.
Yeah.
Okay. But I'm talking about now, just in the celibacy journey.
Yes.
Like, I want to be satisfied.
Yes.
It's emotionally exhausting. If I
Exactly.
can't be fully emotionally intimate with you,
Yes.
then you don't deserve the
Yes.
rights to my body.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I know people like
I
to make us
agree.
feel a certain way.
I agree.
Because you're in your
About that.
40s, I'm in my 40s.
I'm in my 40s.
Okay, you in your 40s.
Look, I'm 30.
Thank you. Thank you.
Work it
Oh, that's right. You
I
look
know
at
all of us can shave like 10, 12 years.
Girl,
but
that's
yeah.
what y'all in us.
People love to make you feel a certain
Right.
type of way.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
and like I have the audacity to
ask
wanna,
you for what I want.
keep my vagina to myself,
Yeah.
like, and think that I should have the right to actually get to know you and your character as a
Yeah,
man,
before I give
And
you anything.
have the comfort
Yeah.
of a commitment.
Yeah.
Well, you know what I'm
you
saying.
can't build a house on sand.
Right.
You know, and I mean, we rush into shit.
Yes.
I've done it a million times. It feels good, it looks good,
Yeah,
let's do it,
yeah.
you know? And then you don't
You
have
just end up
anything.
feeling empty.
You don't have,
Mhm.
and I'm tired
Yeah.
of the emptiness, you know?
Yeah.
I'm tired of that. But, well, ladies, what do you think? You down for another round some other time?
Heck
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, we just want you guys to know, especially since we're talking about men today and stuff, that we do love the black men. We love them with all our heart, and
Love 'em.
we really all everyone needs therapy, and it's not just black men or women or all of us do.
'Cause
Everybody,
we deserve
Yeah.
happiness.
we
Yeah.
all do, and
Yeah.
we want the best relationships that we can have, not only with ourselves but with you too.
Yes.
And it's important to communicate and keep lines of communication open at all times. There's no need to ghost anyone. There's no need to, that ghosting shit is for the birds. You know what I'm saying?
It looks good. It looks good on a
it
black
does,
man
you
to
know,
be healthy.
be your own truth.
Internally and
Yup.
externally. It
Yup.
looks good.
Oh.
So
And just be,
we're
just
we're
speak your
fighting
truth.
for you.
And they already
right.
like
Yes.
some of the sexiest.
Yes,
I just
yes,
don't
that
know that
physique, you
there's
gotta put
anything
that mind with that
more-
physique.
Yeah.
Don't
And
get me
that
wrong, it's
strength,
good looking
yes.
men across
All
the board.
across the board.
But it's
Yeah.
something for
Yes.
me about
a good looking,
brother,
healthy
like-
black man. This has
was
been
great.
very, very healthy for me, very
Yeah.
enlightening. Because a lot of times too, as women, one more thing I do want to say for the men, they don't have healthy relationships outside of relationship. Women
Yeah.
uplift. Girl, I know he hurt you, but think about this and try that.
Yeah.
Men don't want to do that for each other because it exposes what they think is weakness.
Yeah.
And it takes away from them and us when they're not being fed from their friends and families outside of us.
Yeah.
Women have that. And to know right now, I know plenty of men that could use this whole setting, but all men, and same
And
conversation.
that's coming. That's definitely
Um,
coming, and I'd like
you
to do
guys
one
have given me so
co-ed, too.
much this evening,
Yeah.
and just to know I'm not alone out here.
Yeah,
I'm
you
like,
said I'm sitting there
I
like
don't want to
this,
just
and
be
you all like,
strong and by myself. Damn.
Yeah.
I think the key is for as women, for us to advocate for our sons and work
Yes.
to make sure that they have the ability
Yeah.
to be
That
as
is my
whole as
duty.
they can
Yeah.
be once they reach adulthood.
Yes.
And then if they're already at adulthood, taking the time to acknowledge,
Yes.
like,
Yeah.
hey, you know what? This is I didn't do this right.
Yeah.
Sometimes something as simple as an apology. Can I just say,
Apologize to your kids.
my son
Ooh, help heal those wounds.
did not start dating black girls until after some of those conversations.
That's good.
My son
So-
said, I don't, yeah, I told you that.
So not that
That's
you know,
good.
as a mother, like I was like, you know, you don't take it personally. You're like,
Yeah.
well, but at the same time, I'm like, well, you know, you're picking. It's not you're not just picking, you know, white girls who don't understand what you're dealing with.
Yeah.
They're also like, you know, you're in this wounded place. So
Right.
oh God, like please don't let my baby go to jail.
But here's what my
So-
son told me. He said, I'm not ready for jail. He said, I can't go to jail. I wouldn't survive. That's literally what he said to me.
I
Like,
need you to
I
keep
wouldn't
that.
survive. He said, I'm gonna just keep doing what I'm
Yeah,
supposed to be
good.
doing.
I think the only other thing that we can do is encourage black men and other
Yeah,
men
And
to,
women.
to
and
really
young
work
women.
on building community
Yes.
within each other.
Yes.
And if the other side of that is changing your surroundings.
Yes.
Like, if you want something more than the people that you're around
Mhm.
have, you gotta
Yes.
I had to.
You gotta be willing to
you
get
gotta
out there.
you gotta switch it up.
and-
You gotta be
inter-
willing to go into
internet.
another direction.
Physical
You
I had to
gotta-
go to different. I had to start going to different restaurants.
Mhm.
I had to start, like, even in my business life, my conversations are different.
Yes.
The networking events that I go to are different. Like, I love a thug. Don't tell me
Yes.
I don't love a thug.
Yes.
But I need a professional thug.
Yeah,
Like,
I
need
want you to understand. Yes, yes.
You need a boardroom gangster.
Right,
Yes,
you know,
yes,
so
yes.
So thanks for tuning in, and catch us next time on Chopping Up with Shelly, and we'll have other segments that we sit here and talk and give you all the briefs. All right? Some of Denver's best right here, and we'll see you next time, so tune in.
Good night.
Good night.
Bye.